Very much appreciate your time for watching this video. I am Farmer. I speak on behalf of the Management for Household Disaster Resilience Project, also referred to as Help-Gambia. If you're not aware, Help-Gambia is a non-profit or an NGO that is registered based in the Gambia and run by young Gambian volunteers. I will present to you the outcome of our recruitment process for creating a team of volunteers, project volunteers that we call environmental project team. I will present to you the information that we receive and finally present the names of people who are lucky to join us. Amazing group of young Gambians. So first, if you are not aware, Help-Gambia is a disaster risk reduction, climate change adaptation focused organization. We directly work with communities, households in building their own resilience to climate change hazards. So there was an online application form that we sent on social media for about 30 days. So 30 days, this form was in circulation on social media, Facebook, WhatsApp mainly, Twitter, and all of that. Interestingly, we received 42 applications. Applications really came from all 8 regions of the country, including those living in the diaspora. Remember, our president declared the diaspora as the 8th region of the country. So the descriptive statistic for that, surprisingly to me, that majority of them are male. So I don't know what is wrong with the amazing and Gambian female students and volunteers that I know and I've been working with. So I guess I don't know why, but this is what we received. So we received 88% of the applicants are male. In terms of their education level, majority are university students, undergraduate students at the University of the Gambia. Another 40% are college students, mainly at the MDI, Gambia College, or GDDI. And 9% reported that they are graduate students at the University of the Gambia, and only 7% are senior secondary school students. So we were interested to know how much engaged they are, what are they doing at the moment. So their occupational status at the moment. So 55% majority are, of course, not surprising, full-time students. 32% said they are unemployed, they are really not doing so much. So not any formal engagement, I would say. 14% said that they are part-time students. So we were interested to know how they perceive us before going ahead describing whatever we have or answering the questions that were in the application form. So majority, again, 53% reported that we are a national organization, national non-governmental organization, that is an NGO. 19% felt we're civil society. And so the idea here is that they think that we are, you know, they for sure think that we are not private sector, and that we are somehow community driven, community based, and community. So we have some kind of social motive. So no private interest here. So in terms of our area of mission statement, so 86% felt that we are into environmental, climate, or disaster risk reduction area. And again, about 12% thinks that, you know, we are education. But here education varies, because Help-Gambia has been involved in capacity building. We have been involved in research. So I would not reject education at all, because it depends on how they understand the question. So we do some educational programs as well. So in terms of membership in similar organization, wanted to know if they are part of any other organization with a similar mission like Help-Gambia. Again, about 60% said that no, they are not part of any similar organization. That's quite interesting. About 60% of a random number of Gambians out there are not involved in any organization that has any mission related to the environment. So that is definitely important to us for us to understand that what we are doing is needed, and if people are interested in coming on board. And yet today as we speak, majority of them are not involved in the kind of work that we do. So there is definitely a need for us to exist. Other number of organizations currently volunteering for, as I said, Gambians by nature, we love to volunteer. We have a high spirit of volunteerism. Our culture is entrenched or embedded on the principles of community service. We love to work for our community. Not surprising that at least majority of these people are involved in at least one organization, majority one or two, but it is true that most of them are part of a volunteer organization. Self-reported commitment level in volunteerism, 60% reported that when they are involved or when they signed up to volunteer, they are extremely committed, and 35% thinks that, well, we are committed. We are committed when we sign up. Preferred engagement frequency. So because it's voluntary based, we wanted to ensure that they gave us an idea how frequently they would like to be engaged or be involved. And about 50% said that twice every month would be okay for them. 37% said that once every week. So if you add those two together, interestingly, an overwhelming majority can do some sort of work at least twice every month. So if management would decide to go with that kind of framework as far as time frequency is concerned, I think that would make a lot of sense. Preferred social media platform, majority 63% reported that they prefer WhatsApp. The next was Facebook, so WhatsApp was quite interesting to us. We asked about expectation, their biggest expectation for joining us. And as young, Gambians, we gave them these options. These may not be the main options, but these are some of the things that we can provide. So some area of work experience would be gained from joining us. Something around leadership skills, something around knowledge acquisition in the area of climate change and disaster risk reduction, something around public speaking, communication and public speaking, and teamwork, the ability to work in teams. So quite interesting. Of course, not so surprising, but majority of them, 65%, said that they are coming on board because they want to learn more about climate change and disaster risk reduction. So knowledge acquisition, her highest. So we were wanted to know if you think we have any international volunteer base, and yes, 80% believes that yes, we have an international volunteer base, and that's true, including myself, because some of our volunteers are not living in the country, and they're very much interested, very much engaged, very much involved. They're very much committed in putting their own resources into the work that we do. So we thank all our international volunteers for being part and supportive to our mission. So in terms of the recruitment and the selection process, Help-Gambia has its own model for interview. Our interview model was observational, that was based on participation and completion of assigned tasks during an exercise that we gave to these people. So conventionally, if you apply to any organization, whether to volunteer or as an intern or to be employed, we know that they will invite you to come for interview, in-person interview often. And in these in-person interviews, we know you present your credential, you talk about yourself, tell the panel how great you are and what you do and all of that, So we're like, yes, these are students, they are very smart, they have they have a good command of the English language, and they will be able to convince us, to tell us in words that they can do what we are out there to accomplish. So we are like, well, let's try to come up with a different methodology or different strategy here. So our strategy was to do what we call a team building exercise, and that the outcome of the team building exercise would be sort of the outcome of the interview. So let me walk you through what we did. So the interview process. The interview process, first of all, what we did was we had their telephone numbers, their contacts. We opened a WhatsApp group and added all those whose numbers are on WhatsApp. Only 5 of them are currently not using WhatsApp. So out of 42, only 5 people are not using WhatsApp. The rest were all in WhatsApp. So we added all the numbers, and week 1, we had a week-long introduction. We asked them, first of all, we congratulated them for being shortlisted to be part of the interview process, that what we are coming to do is an interview. We will get to the interview, but we did not tell them specifically that the exercise was meant to be an interview for the process or for becoming part of the team. But they were informed that they are in the group because they applied and that there would be an interview. So we sent out a form to ask their availability to be interviewed. Even that was done. In that form, majority of them replied or answered, gave options as to what they would prefer as a methodology for interview. And as far as in-person interview and phone interview was concerned, majority preferred to be called to be interviewed. However, we kept that form. We were like, okay, let's have some introduction here. So I introduced the management to the team, and everyone in the team, including the management members, were asked to send in their pictures with their names and place of residence. That was week 1. So week 2, we informed them that at least 4 days notice was given that there will be an exercise. The exercise would be what we call a team building exercise. We said this team building exercise can have a lot of objectives, but here are 3 main ones. Objective 1 is building relationships and expanding your professional networks. 2, assessing your willingness to rapidly complete assigned tasks as a disaster management volunteer. And 3 was building a network of Help Gambia volunteers across the country. So we said, well, these are the 3 main objectives for the team building exercise. We gave them an instruction. So we said among group members herein, because remember in week 1, there was an introduction for everyone to send in their picture, so facial image and their contact, their name and the place of residence. So the instruction for the team building exercise was that, number 1, present images or pictures of at least 3 people you have already known in the group. So the second one was present pictures of at least 3 people you don't know in person. Among the 3 people you don't know in person, we ask them to directly call each, introduce themselves and get to know them more. And we said, while you call them, in building relationship with them, share with the rest of the team 3 things you have in common with each. So this was a very interesting and very participatory, very, very engaging process. About 80% of members in the group participated in this phase of the exercise. So they call each other. A couple of people called me. They introduced themselves. We spoke at length for some minimum of 30 minutes. For some, we spoke for over an hour, talking about various things ranging from education to music to food, sports, even though I'm not a very big fan of sports. We talked about a range of things. Volunteerism, community service, community work, everything that you can imagine, we talked about it. And this was what was happening among the group members. So people were offline, off the WhatsApp group, using their own credit to call people they have never seen, they don't know, they just saw their picture in the WhatsApp group. And this was amazing. It was quite amazing. the feedback. I'll get to the feedback, what some of them felt or thought or described the exercise as. The final instruction was to follow and befriend each on at least at most 3 social media platforms. So you can go to WhatsApp, on Facebook and befriend them, or you follow them on Twitter and LinkedIn and all of that. Connect with them on social media. So these were the instructions that were given. This is the outcome. So before I explain what happened, let me give you more context. So after 85% completion of the first stage of the exercise, that was to call and report to the WhatsApp group, we felt that we needed to analyze the data. We needed to bring in an additional assignment that will be final to complete the process. So we created another form, online form, that had the form has questions for them to fill in all of this information. Tell us the 3 people you knew before the exercise, the people you don't know, the people you call, and give us a description. So this was a descriptive essay, about 200 words, describe each of the persons that you spoke to. So these were the things that the form asked them to do. And then the form also asked them to, of course, review their willingness, their willingness after the exercise. And we also asked them to describe in one word what they thought about, how they perceived the exercise in just one word. So out of 42 out of 30, this will be 37, because remember 5 people were not using WhatsApp. So out of 37 people is what came out. Only 45% of those 19 people successfully completed the week-long exercise. And to put it into context a little more in terms of time, when we completed the self-reporting, reporting within the WhatsApp group, for the online reporting to be completed, we gave them 5 days, and that we gave them an extension. After the 5 days, we gave them 2 days extension, and during the 5 days, every day we send in a reminder that this is required as part of the team building exercise. This online form has to be completed. At the end of the 5 days, we gave them an extension of 2 days. We said 2 days time, the online form will be automatically inactive. So it will be appropriate if you could complete it by now. So after the extension, I also left the form active, but did not inform them that it is still active. So for those who did not complete it, they were given an additional week, but none of them, went back or tries to complete again. So I would say about 2 weeks was given to all of these people to complete this form. Eventually, we end up having 19 completions at a percentage rate of 45%. So 55% of those who applied said they were interested, never finished assigned tasks that were given to them for reasons that we are not very much clear about. But WhatsApp has a way to cross-check who was online, whether they checked it or not, or whether they view it or not, whether they read it or not. So we looked at that, but based on that, we can confidently and strongly state that a majority of them saw the form and they were online. So that is the outcome. So the names that came out to be successful, and these are a list of people who will join us. as Help Gambia volunteers. Is Mr. Dauda Cham, Musa Sar, Shartijan Jalo, Bint Mohamed Salah, Lamin Sani, Ibrahim Shaw, Ibrahim M. Sise, Musa Dembele, Omar Nyang, Tijan Kuyate, Ismaila Sediba, Mariama Tamba, Modu L.Y. Jata, Aminata Ju, Sam Mendi, Ibrahim Sabali, Abubakar Singate, Omar Diba, Mohamed Krubali. So these are incredibly committed, very much committed. People who are definitely, no doubt in my mind, that we'll be happy to work with, because we put them in a position that if you are interested in joining an organization, and majority of you said that you are interested to come and learn, and you have been asked, given basic or simple instructions to follow, so we felt that if you could not complete this exercise as expected, we don't think that we will give you any harder job for you to do that you will eventually accomplish, because this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like, this is really nothing. This is just using your phone, and it takes like, most of these forms take, it takes like 5 minutes to complete it. So, and that was also mentioned in the introduction of the form when we sent it to the group, that it takes only about 3 to 5 minutes to complete this. So I want to say a big congratulations to these young Gambians who we are very much proud to have to join us as Help Gambia volunteers. So we will have these group into what we call environmental project teams of 4 to work with, and as you could see in this demonstration, they will come up with their own team leader and their team secretary. They will take the lead while we follow. Management will be following them, so they will take the ultimate lead, and they will be guided, they will be provided with resources, they will be trained, and also an additional advantage that they would get is we will work with them to ensure that they get internship opportunities with organizations that they are interested in joining. So we can strongly state that we will be there for them at all time. So let me give you some description of the exercise. So we asked them to what description of the exercise. 71% felt that it was extremely useful, 28%, so no one felt that it was not useful at all. So 28 said that it was very useful. So the other options, not useful, somehow useful, were not even mentioned. As far as the exercise was concerned, we asked whether they would recommend that exercise to other environmental groups or to other groups that might be interested in using it. And 95% said that yes, they would definitely recommend this exercise to other groups, and about 5% said they would probably do so. Their willingness and interest after the exercise, 95%, of course. These are people who completed the exercise, even though, like I said, they did not know that the exercise was meant to be an interview process. But again, 95% said that they are extremely committed and willing to serve even after the exercise. And about 5% said that they are somewhat interested and willing to serve. So I can still say that out of the 19, well, we have about few people who are still saying that they are somewhat interested and willing to serve. So we will see. As we divide them into teams, they will evaluate participation among teams. And a Help Gambia board member will be part of each of the teams, and we will observe them, and whoever is not interested in completing the team assignments, we will remove you. Yeah, we don't want to have big numbers. We want to have quality work, and quality work often can be done with smaller numbers. So that is interesting, very, very important to take note of. In one word, please describe the team building exercise, and this is what turned out to be. Some said it was best, it was efficient, engaging, fascinating. Those are the words that they gave us. Wonderful, wonderful, superb, significant, necessary, magnificent, and all of those, awesome, worthy. fantastic, good. These were their direct words that they entered in the form. So finally, I want to inform those who were part of the team building exercise and were unsuccessful in completing the assignments. Management has considered that we will give you a second chance, provided that you are willing to write a petition, a formal petition to the management explaining why you were unable to complete the online form. So upon receiving your petition, we will review it, and we may consider or reconsider our decision. If your name is not mentioned here and you are part of the team and you are still interested in joining Help Gambia, of course, like I said, we're not paying, but we are going to provide lots of resources, lots of training, lots of opportunities like internship opportunities. We will work with you to ensure you have those at your disposal. So having said that, I would urge you, if you are still interested, it is not a trick, but it is just a lesson to be learned that today you don't need to be called for an in-person interview for you to be successful in securing a job. As you know, the social media platform is out there, and all of us are one way or the other providing or throwing out a lot of information. So recruiters and employers are reviewing all of these options, even schools that you applied for, perhaps for graduate school. All of these things may be considered as part of recruitment or a selection process for people. So it is important that we are aware that things may change. So be mindful about what you send out there, and just know that to be part of something, you don't always need to speak for yourself. There is a saying that action speaks louder than words. So on that note, I want to stop here and thank you very much. It is definitely a pleasure knowing and having to hear all of you participate in this exercise. Don't be disappointed. We're still here. We don't have a lot of resources in terms of money, but we have a lot of ideas. We have a lot of ways to improve ourselves, to work together, share ideas and share knowledge in attaining our shared mission. So please send in your petition if you still want to be part of us. And this is what I have to say. Thank you very much.